let us recap our information about the following. Number 1, there are 4 main sectors in each national economy: household sector, investment sector, government sector, and sector of international trade. Number 2, there are 3 main markets: market of goods and services, market of money, and labor market. They are respectively 3 conditions of equilibrium. The condition of equilibrium in the market of goods and services is aggregate supply should equal aggregate demand. The condition of equilibrium in the market of money supply should equal money demand. The condition of equilibrium in the market of labor or labor market, labor supply LS should equal labor demand. But in our case, we are looking for 2 equilibriums, and then to correlate these 2 equilibriums, interrelate these 2 equilibriums. Find, as we mentioned in the previous lecture, we have to find the equilibrium in the market of goods and services. Then we are going to find the equilibrium level in the market of money. We stated before that the equilibrium in the market of goods and services is represented by IS equation. IS equation, it is an equation which contains various levels of income and interest rate, which apply the equilibrium level on the market of goods and services. Thus, the equilibrium in this market is depending upon income and interest rate. Also, the equilibrium in the market of money depends on income and interest rate. Now we would like to find the combination which make equilibrium in both markets. So combination of income and interest rates. IS equation. By the way, I stands for investment while S stands for saving. This, if you remember, it is IS stands for equilibrium for two sectors model. I equal S or S equal I is the condition of income equilibrium for two sectors model, household sector and investment sector. So IS equation is an equation which contains various levels of income and interest rate and expresses the equilibrium condition in the market of goods and services. So let us practice how to design IS equation. Given C, it is consumption function, C equal 150 plus 0.50 y. C consumption function is endogenous variable. I capital stands for investment while I small stands for interest rate. I equal 200 negative 400 I. So let's check again. The relation between consumption and income is positive, direct relation. Sign here is possible, is plus, but the relation between investment and interest rate is inverse, mathematically according to the sign minus between I capital and I small. 400 is the coefficient of interest rate. Okay, now the second question is to find the combination of equilibrium if the levels of interest rate are 0.2, 0.4, 0.6 and 0.8, or 2%, 4%, 60% and 8%, and express the equation graphically. Okay, we know that the condition of equilibrium using expenditure methods is y equal C plus I. Y is used interchangeably as aggregate supply as well as income. So C plus I, it is a component of aggregate demand, consumption demand and investment demand. So Y equal C plus I. So the substitution of C is 150 plus 0.50 y plus the substitution of I 200 negative 400 I. Y equal 150 plus 200 is 350 plus 0.8 y negative 400. Okay, so push 0.50 y to the left side of equation. So y negative 0.50y equals 350 negative 400i. Y negative 0.50y, the remain is 0.50y equal 350 minus 400i. Let's divide each term by 0.50 only. The remain is y equal 350 over 0.50, it is 700, and 400 over 0.50, it is 800. This is an IS equation. As you see, the relation between the relation between income and interest in the market of goods and services is inverse. Check the sign between income and interest rate is minus. So this equation proved that the relation is opposite between income and interest rate. Actually, as you see, if we return back to the givens, we saw that the relation between investment and interest rate also is negative. High interest rate, low investment. From other hand, according to the psychological law of Keynes, the relation between consumption and income is positive, but increase in income leads to increase in consumption, but at small, not like the increase in income. For example, if income increased by $100, consumption also will increase, but less than $100. That is why, as we mentioned before, B, or marginal propensity to consume, is between 0 and 1. It is more than 0 but less than 1. Marginal propensity to consume, or B, here in the consumption function, equals 0.50. It is between 0 and 1. Between 0 and 1. That's why the relation between consumption, the level of consumption, and level of between the change in consumption and the change in income is direct. MPC equal delta C over delta Y. MPC equal delta C over delta Y. So now this is our IS equation. Now we need to prove that the relation between income and interest rate is negative in the market of goods and services. In the next slide, we will assume various levels of income to find interest rate, or to assume various level of interest rate to find the various level of income. Okay. based on is equation, y equal 700 negative 800 I, and c equal 150 plus 0.50 y, and I equal 200 negative 400 I. Okay. Now assume that I equal 2%. I equal 2%. Let us substitute this assumption in the is equation. So y equal 700 negative 800 multiplied by 2%. So the result is 684. So y equals 684. Once we found y, then we can determine c. C equal 150 plus 0.50 y. So 150 plus 0.50 times 684, which is the result is 492. I equals 0.2. Then let's substitute this interest rate in the function of investment. Investment equal 200 minus 400 multiplied by what? 2%. The result is 192. So as we mentioned before, y equal c plus I. Y equal c plus I. C plus I, or 492 plus 192 equals 648, which is under the column of y or es. So it is proved. Let's move to the second assumption. If interest rate equal 4%, then income equals 700 negative 800 times 0.4. The result is y equal 668. Once y is given, then c equal 150 plus 0.50 times 668, and c equal 484. I also should be substituted in the function of investment. I equal 200 negative 400 multiplied by 0.4. It is 184. The summation of c plus I equals 668, which is equal to income. So let's move to the third interest rate. I equal 0.6%. Let's insert this interest rate in the is equation. So we will get y equals 700 negative 800 times 6%. So we got y equal 652. 652. Once income is given equal 652, then we can determine consumption. C equal 150 plus 0.50 times 652, which is 476. That is good. Now we can repeat using of interest rate by inserting interest rate in the function of investment. Respectively, investment equal 200 negative 400 times 0.6, which is 176. So the summation of C plus I equals 652, which is Y, or aggregate supply. Now let's move to the last level of interest rate, which is equal 0.8 or 8%. Again, by substituting this interest rate in the Ix equation, so y equals 700 negative 800 times 8%. The result is 636. So let us insert this 636 in the function of consumption. It will be C equal 150 plus 0.50 times 636. The result is 468, the level of consumption. Repetitively, by inserting the level of interest rate in the function of investment, we will get 200 negative 400 times 0.8. The result is 168. The summation of 168 and 468 is 636, which is Y. The remarks: the rate of the change in income, or AS, is constant, equal 16, because the change is in interest rate delta I small equals 0.2. Respectively, the change in income, delta income, or delta AS, is constant, equal 16. The rate of the change in aggregate demand also is constant, respectively, logically, obviously. Once the change in aggregate demand is constant, equal 16, then the change in aggregate supply is constant, also equal 16, because the change in aggregate supply is depending upon the change of aggregate demand. The rate of the change in consumption C is constant, equal 8, logically. The rate of the change in investment I is constant, equal 8. So the high the interest rate, the low the income. The high the interest rate, the low the income. So if you, when interest rate equals to 0.2, the level of income equal 684. the increase of interest rate from 0.2 up to 0.4 led to decrease in income from 684 to 668. The increase of interest rate from 0.4 up to 0.6 led to the decrease in income from 668 up to 652. So last, the increase of interest rate from 6% up to 8% led to decrease in income from 652 up to 636. So once the relation between income and interest rate in the market of goods and services is negative, then the curve which expresses IS equation should be downward, sloping down. I would like to advise you that when you are going to plot the curve of IS, assume that the vertical axis represents interest rate while the horizontal axis represents the income. By plotting these figures coordinates, you will discover that the nature of the curve of IS is sloping down. The nature of the curve is sloping down because the relation between the two variables, income and interest rate, is in pairs. Okay, as you remember, the nature of LM curve is upward because the relation between income and interest rate in the market of money is positive. Once relation is positive, this is constant information. If the relation between two variables is positive, then the curve is upward. If the relation between two variables is negative or inverse, then the curve is downward, sloping down. So now again, solving IS and LM equation. Given C equal 100 plus 0.80y, I equal 150 negative 600i. Okay, MS equal 200, MA equal 50 negative 400i, MT equal 0.20y. Now, consumption function and investment function are the components of the market of goods and services, while money supply MS and speculative demand MA and transaction demand MT are components of the market of goods and of the market of money. Required to find the combination of income and interest rate that balances two market. One combination to find the equilibrium level of income and interest rate. Secondly, we need to prove the condition of equilibrium in both two markets. So the combination which is found out should be applied in two markets to prove the condition of equilibrium. Notice that the functions of consumption and investment, as mentioned before, are the components of the market of goods and services, while an money supply, demand for transaction MT, and speculative demand MA are components of the market of money. Now, let's first fix the IS equation. The condition of the equation is y equals c plus I. C equal 100 plus 0.80y. I equal 150 negative 600i. So y equal 100 plus 0.80y plus 0 plus 150 negative 600i. Let's push 0.80y to the left side of the equation, and 100 plus 150 equal 250 negative 600. Y negative 0.80y, the remain is 0.20 pi equal 250 negative 600i. Divide each term by 0.20. The remain y equal 1250 minus 3000i. This is IS equation. This is IS equation. This is equation which represents the market of goods and services. As you see, the sign between income and interest rate is minus. This proves that the relation between income and interest rate in the market of goods and services is inverse. Y equal 1250 negative 3000i, 3000 interest rate. Now we are moving to design LM equation, or equation of the market of money. The condition to design LM equation is MS equal MD. Money supply should equal money demand. Money demand equal MT, money transaction, plus MA, money speculation. 200 MS equal 0.20y MT plus 50 negative 400i MA. So let's push MA to the left side. Now 200 negative 50 plus 400i equal 0.20y. 200 minus 50, 150 plus 400i equals 0.20y. By dividing each by 0.20, the remain is y equal 750 plus 2000i. This is LM equation, an LM equation where the relation between income and interest rate is positive. Okay, now we will try to find the combination of interest rate and income which make two markets are balanced. Solve IS and LM simultaneously. Now, by multiplying equation 2 by -1, then y equal 1250 minus 3000 and negative y equal negative 750 negative 2000 I. Y negative y equals 0. 1250 negative 750, the remain is 500. Negative 3000 I, negative 2000 I, the remain is 5000 I, negative 5000 I, or 500. So it will be pushed to the left side. Negative 500 equal negative 5000 I, or 500 equal 5000 I equal 500 over 5000 I equal 0.10. Plus substitute this interest rate 0.10 in what you like, whatever equation 1 or equation 2, the result will be the same. So y equal 1250 negative 3000 multiplied by 0.10 or 10%. The result is 950. So the combination is 0.10 interest rate and 950 is income. This combination is responsible to make equilibrium in both market, or the I, it is intersection point between the curve of IS and LM. Also 950 is intersection point between the curve of IS and the curve of LM. Mainly this intersection point faces 0.10 on the axis of interest rate and faces 950 on the curve on the axis of income or horizontal axis. The proof: y equal as given equal 950, then c equal 100 plus 0.80 instead of y 950, so c equal 860. Okay, I equal 0.10. I mean I small interest rate. I capital equal 150 negative 600 I. By substitution interest rate 150 minus 600 times 0.10, which is 90. This is about the components of the market of goods and services. The market of goods and services, y equals c plus I. Y equals c plus I. 860 plus 90 equal 950, because y equal c plus I. Income or aggregate supply equal aggregate demand. Aggregate demand in this case equal c plus I. Equal c plus I. So the summation of c and I should equal income. Let's move. If income equal 950, then we can find money transaction or the demand for transaction. So 0.20 y, it was 0.20 y, of course. Instead of y, actually 950. So mt equal 190. Money for transaction equal 190. So let's move to find MA, money for speculation. Money for speculation, MA is given equal 50 negative 400 I. I interest rate equal 0.10. So MA equal 50 negative 400 times 0.10, which is 10. We know that the condition of the equilibrium in the market of money is MS equal MT plus MA. So MT is given equal $200. MD equal MT plus MA. 190 plus 10 equal 200. So check the table below. Y equal 950. I equal 0.10. C respectively, as a result of the above calculation, equal 860. Investment equal 90. Y equal C plus I equal 860 plus 90 equal 950. Proved. Is proved. MT, as shown by the above calculation, equals 0.20 multiplied by 950 is 190. MA as the result of calculation also equal 10. MD equal MT plus MA. 190 plus 10 equal 200. So MD equal 200 equal MS equal 200. So interest rate, the combination of interest rate and income is the best what combination that makes equilibrium in post market market of money and market of goods and services. So based on the givens, interest rate or 0 point according to the based on the givens 0.10 should make the equilibrium only with the level of income equal 950 conditionally according to the previous givens and nothing. Income equal 950 should make the status or should create the status of equilibrium in two markets only with the combination of interest rate which equals 0.10. So other factors remain constant. So if we would like to express this relation graphically, we are going to plot the curve of IS, it is sloping down curve, and the curve of LM, it is upward curve. We assumed before the vertical axis represents interest rate while the horizontal axis represent Y. So the intersection point between LM and IS should face 0.10 interest rate on the vertical axis and should face level of income equal 950 on the axis, on the horizontal axis, the intersection point is said to be the equilibrium level of economy, but this is a very radical assumption. This assumption neglected the other factors affect the equilibrium of market. I think this is very clear, and it gave you a wide picture to understand the importance of the IS and LM equations. Thank you very much. I'm very glad to conduct these semesters in spite of the difficulties which we are facing. I wish you success in your life, academically and others. Thank you very much.